gain more confidence so I can go in less afraid of what could happen. All right. These are things that I do to overcome this problem daily. I also pray a lot to the big homie upstairs. That really helps a lot because my relationship with the Father is very important for my mental health and spiritual health. He's the only person that can supply me with eternal peace. Philippians 4:7. I know this ain't your usual Storytime Devontae the One video. I got a playlist if y'all want to go check those out, but I really wanted to
You will beware. You're in for a scare.
12 disturbing Goosebumps monsters that scared the hell out of us back in the day. Back in the 1990s, author R.L. Stine gave us his masterpiece of horror book series called Goosebumps, written specifically for the age group of 9 to 12.
Hello, I'm R.L. Stine.
I remember this shit.
I write the Goosebumps books.
These books became a stepping stone in the world of fiction and allowed Stine to become a favorite for young fans of horror. Since its first publication, the writer sold more than 400 million copies worldwide.
Damn.
Not only is he compared to the likes of Stephen King, but many believe that Stine and J.K. Rowling are the greatest children fiction writers of all time. After publishing 62 books between 1992 and 1997, Stine revived the novels through various spin-offs such as the Goosebumps series 2000, Tales to Give You Goosebumps, and more. Not only this, but some of his most famous stories have been adapted into films and TV shows as well. Even with a long-standing empire this is, there have been certain creatures that have gained more popularity than the others due to their repetition or inherent scare factor. Today, we recall some of our favorite monsters from the 1995 Canadian-American TV series Goosebumps, based on Stine's tales, and subsequently take a trip down memory lane. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Slappy the Dummy. Slappy the Dummy was carved by an ancient sorcerer out of coffin wood and comes with a set of words on him. Karu Mari Odana Loma Malonu Karano.
Remember, Amy? You spoke the words. Karu Mari Odana Loma. Malonu Karano?
Whoever reads these words out loud brings Slappy to life, and he in turn makes them his slave. He has curly red hair and a set of bright blue eyes along with a chip on his lower jaw that allows him to move while speaking. Slappy has a sadistic nature and likes to torture his slaves.
You are my slaves, just like Rockhead over there.
According to him, humans are the dummies and they must all obey him or succumb to his powers. Episode 10 of the first season is titled Night of the Living Dummy, and it tells the story of middle child Amy, who is ecstatic to get a new dummy as a gift from her father. She wants to practice with it to outshine her siblings on family nights with her performances. Soon things start going very wrong and Amy knows exactly who is responsible. Her new puppet, Slappy. While her family continues to blame her, she tries to convince them that it is all happening because of Slappy.
Hey, Sarah. Wanna play?
In the end, the siblings hatch a plan to destroy Slappy, but just when they think they've been successful, they realize whatever was keeping him alive has now taken over an old doll of Amy's named Dennis. Slappy appears once again in episode 24 and 25 of season 2, titled Night of the Living Dummy 3, Part 1 and Part 2. These episodes tell the story of Trina and Dan Odell, whose father is obsessed with collecting dummies for his ventriloquist acts. After reading the magic words Trina finds on one of the dummies, she and her brother start to notice odd changes in the attic where they are all stored. Soon the puppets start showing up all over the house with no one having any memory of taking them out of the attic. Although the Odells are not able to put Slappy to sleep, they are able to get rid of him.
Yep,
and their evil cousin Zane rats them out to their father. Trina and Dan hand him Slappy as a parting gift and watch them drive away, and Slappy winks at the Odell kids. In a later episode in season 3 titled Bride of the Living Dummy, we see certain hints towards the existence of Slappy in the Goosebumps franchise. The episode, however, does not feature him, but only a female dummy that is supposed to be Slappy's love interest. The Werewolf. This monster appears in episode 18 and 19 of season 1, titled The Werewolf of Fever Swamp Part 1 and Part 2. The story begins when Grady and Emily Tucker come to live in Fever Swamp with their father. The two take an immediate dislike to the place because of its damp weather, creepy old dudes, and a rather twisted history. According to their new friend and local resident Will, the place got its name after all the residents came down with a terrible fever that made them go mad.
Because the old lady who lived there went into the swamp one day and never came out.
Feeling lonely in a new place, Grady adopts a stray dog and names it Wolf due to its ragged appearance. But soon after, dead rabbits start showing up, and some of his father's deer that he was using for his experiments are killed too. Since everyone believes Wolf to be the culprit, Grady has no choice but to let the dog go. That night, he walks out into the swamp and gets attacked by a werewolf. His dog, Wolf, jumps out of nowhere and fights the creature off, saving Grady. Although he loses his consciousness, Grady understands during the attack that the werewolf is none other than his new friend Will.
There's gotta be something we can do. No, leave.
On hearing his son accounts, Grady's father goes to investigate Will, but finds his house is unoccupied and they never hear from Will again. Because of this attack, Grady has now turned into a werewolf himself, and the story ends with him and Wolf running side by side through Fever Swamp at night. The werewolf stands as tall as any regular-sized monster, but looks way more menacing due to his fangs and angry-looking face. The werewolf is as vicious as Will's human form is sweet and helpful. As most werewolf tales go, sometimes the person is aware of being a werewolf and sometimes they are not. Which one of that is true in Will's case is never revealed to us.
Face forever.
The Haunted Mask. Stein has invested a considerable amount of his time in The Haunted Mask, as there are 4 books featuring this mask as the main antagonist. The Haunted Mask is the result of a failed experiment by a shopkeeper who hated his own face. He was positive that if he created a beautiful face out of human flesh, which stuck to the wearer's original visage forever, he would be able to accomplish self-love.
They're the symbol of love.
But things go sideways, and the mask turns into a monstrous mug, reflecting who the shopkeeper was on the inside. Many failed experiments led him to abandon his project, and he put aside his mask collection in a room no one had access to. The shopkeeper called these masks the Unloved. They sat in the abandoned chamber, waiting to possess another human.
Now, your eyes will see through mine.
The Haunted Mask Part 1 and 2 are the first and second episode of Season 1. They tell the story of Carly Beth, a young girl tired of being pranked. On Halloween night, she is determined to find the scariest mask possible and use it to frighten those that humiliated her. When she goes to purchase the mask, the store owner warns her against it, but she ignores his advice and goes for it anyway. Much to her dismay, she realizes that the longer she wears the mask, the more it alters her personality. Eventually, it becomes impossible for her to take it off, as it has an evil mind of its own. Left with no other option, Carly returns to the shopkeeper, who tells her the only way to get rid of the mask is to find a symbol of love.
Run! Run!
This is where Steve, one of the guys who used to prank her, comes in, as he admits that he only did it because he liked her. This confession of love inadvertently saves Carly from the Haunted Mask. The Haunted Mask 2 Parts 1 and Part 2 are a continuation of the story, with Steve more in focus this time. The story stretches over episode 11 and 12 of Season 2. Unknown to the dangers of Carly's mask from previous Halloween, Steve wishes to own one that looks just as scary. Despite Carly refusing to tell him where she got the item from, Steve is able to find a creepy stranger who leads him to the mask in an abandoned basement. While all this goes down, he remains unaware that the mask has been pursuing Steve all along for the same evil intentions it had with Carly. In the end, Carly and Steve join hands with their friends Sabrina and Chuck, and together they are able to fight against its evil and burn all the unloved. The Lawn Gnomes. Episode 8 of Season 2, titled Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes, introduces us to the protagonist Joe Burton, who lives with his sister Mindy and their parents. They are constantly at odds with their neighbor, a retired Army Major, Mr. McCall. The Major obsesses over his garden and is determined to defeat the Burtons at the annual garden show.
Entitled to his opinion.
I don't need your permission. The contest judges will tell you which garden is best.
Joe's father brings home lawn gnomes for their backyard, with the intention of giving it a fresh look for the awards. But Joe can tell from the very start that something about these unnaturally large gnomes is off.
He might have had me if he owed
The
it.
morning after the gnomes are bought, Mr. McCall comes over to the Burton
Flash.
house to complain about his garden being trespassed into and destroyed. He says he knows it was the work of Joe, who has always wanted to ruin his botanical area. but Joe denies all accusations. It does not take Joe long to figure out that it is the work of the garden gnomes that come to life every night and wander into Mikhail's garden and destroy it.
What's going on down here?
Joe and Mindy follow the gnomes at night, only to realize that they are outnumbered. They're only able to escape when the Major turns on his garden lights, which inadvertently freezes the gnomes in place. Mikhail carries the terracotta figures through the dark passage between his house and his neighbors to put it back in place, and it is in the darkness that the gnome comes back to life and attacks him. The next morning, judges for the garden show arrive and claim that they cannot give the Burtons the award due to the presence of a hideous lawn ornament. When the family walks over to see what they are talking about, they are horrified to find a gnome that looks exactly like Major Mikhail. The gnomes are about 3 feet tall and have grumpy expressions on their face. When they come to life, these expressions remain intact and act in accordance with their violent nature. While one of them is dressed in a red pointy hat, yellow, full-sleeve t-shirt and sky blue pants, the other wears a blue hat, red t-shirt, and navy blue pants. As usual, certain creative liberties led to the television adaptation being a little different from the book. In the episode, the kids are significantly more invested in their father's efforts to win the garden show, unlike the book, where they are obsessed of his obsession with something so trivial. Not only this, but the introduction of the additional lawn gnomes came out of nowhere in the episode, whereas the readers got a backstory about them in the book. Most notably, light freezes the gnomes in the episode as opposed to a dog whistle doing the job in the book. The Scarecrows. The 14th episode of Season 2, Scarecrow Walks at Midnight, is a classic rural horror featuring a monster we have come to love and appreciate today. Jody and her brother Mark arrive at a farm to spend the summer with their grandparents. They are joined by the farmhand Stanley and his son Styx for the most part, but something about them seems off-putting to Jody from the start.
Now let me think. I don't like those stories. They make me scared.
The grandfather does not narrate scary stories like he used to all the time, while the grandmother has suddenly stopped her habit of cooking. In one of the earlier scenes, we see a scarecrow knocking on the windows at night, and Stanley warns the kids the next morning about them coming to life every evening. Soon, all this talk about the creepy scarecrows starts to get under Jody and Mark's skins, making them paranoid. One night, Jody and Mark hatch a plan to scare Styx as a prank, but things soon go sideways when they encounter a real scarecrow that has come to life. Jody demands the truth, and Styx tells her about his father having found a book of spells which he used to bring the effigies to life. Jody, Mark, Styx, and Stanley get attacked by the scarecrows who corner them into the barn where they try to fight them off. Finally, Mark saves them by running over the scarecrows with a lawnmower truck. The next morning at breakfast, when everything is back to normal, Stanley sits in a corner reading from his book. On hearing the lawnmower start up on its own in the barn, Jody looks at Stanley suspiciously and inquires what he is reading. The episode ends on a cliffhanger, headed in an obvious direction. Staying very true to the art on the book cover, the scarecrows in the episode are seen wearing ragged farmer clothes and hats, and stand tall above the regular-sized humans. They have wooden stick frames and are primarily made up of straws like most scarecrows are. There are 2 major changes in the episode from the book, one being the scarecrows are crushed under the lawnmower as opposed to being set on fire, and the other being Stanley accidentally bringing the lawnmower to life in the end as opposed to a teddy bear. Mr. Mortman. The 4th episode, titled The Girl Who Cried Monster, follows 12-year-old Lucy Dark, who loves spending her free time scaring her little brother Randy by telling him scary stories. She shares a love for all things supernatural and visits her local library every now and then to get issued ghost books. One day, as she leaves the library after borrowing a Frankenstein book, she realizes she has left behind her rollerblades. When she goes back to collect them, she sees something bizarre. The librarian, Mr. Mortman, is consuming bugs and spiders in a sickening manner.
Ew.
When she thinks she has seen enough, Lucy notices Mr. Mortman mutating into a strange monster, with its eyes protruding out of its head,
Ew.
its skin turning into a slimy green color, and fangs where his teeth were.
Ew.
Lucy runs back home to tell her parents about what she saw, but no one believes her as they are all aware she makes up paranormal stories to scare others. Even her friend, Erin Messer, refuses to believe her, so she goes back into the library another time to capture photographs of the monster as proof. While clicking photos, Lucy gets spotted by Mr. Mortman, but after some struggling, manages to escape.
Running, little one. I love fast food.
Out of politeness, Lucy's parents invite the librarian for dinner and ask her to stop saying all the outrageous things she has been saying about him. That evening, Mr. Mortman asks what is for dinner, and in a classic R.L. Stine-style twist, Lucy's parents say, "you," right before they grow serpent-like fangs and devour him. They tell Lucy and Randy afterwards that this is the first time in 20 years there has been a monster in town apart from them, and that when it is time for the children to transform, they must also ensure that no other monster settles in their vicinity. As many of you must have guessed, the title of this episode is a modern horror twist on the famous tale of the boy who cried wolf. Both Lucy and the boy from those tales are not believed when they claim they have seen actual danger because of all the previous times they lied about it just for their own sadistic pleasure of freaking people out. The television episode ended up making a few small changes, such as showing Mortman feasting on spiders, unlike his book version that feasted on his pet turtles. Another major change was Lucy's parents inviting Mortman to dinner, whereas in the book, it was Lucy's friend Aaron who tells the parents about Mortman being a monster as he had seen it himself. This convinced them that their daughter was telling the truth after all.
Say cheese!
The evil camera. This monster appears in the first season's 15th episode titled Say Cheese and Die, and later in the 18th episode of season 3 titled Say Cheese, Die Again. Stein wrote the sequel way after the first one published. On visiting a creepy house that belongs to a man named Spidey, Greg and his friends stumble upon an old camera. A series of events linking the camera to mishaps convince Greg that the device is responsible for it all. No photo clicked on that camera comes out as it was clicked. Rather, the person in the photo suffers the same fate that is depicted in them. Having had enough of the device's powers, Greg and his friend Shari go back to put it where they got it from and run into Spidey. He reveals to them that his real name is Dr. Fritz Fredericks and that he is a deranged scientist. Back when the camera was created by Fritz's partner, his greed led him to steal it, but he realized all too late that his partner had put a dark spell on the shutter, which is why only bad fate lies for those whose photos are clicked with it. Greg and Shari click Spidey's photo in an attempt to escape him as he tries to make them his prisoners for finding out the truth. This causes Spidey to die from the fear of something bad happening to him. Although Greg leaves the camera where he first found it and reports Spidey's corpse to the police, two local bullies, who had followed them there, retrieve the camera for themselves. The story ends with them waiting for their photo to develop after they use the camera on themselves.
Give that to me.
I need it.
Give it to me now.
In the sequel, Greg ends up going back to the house for the camera as he has written an essay about it in his summer assignment. The teacher refused to give him a passing mark due to his story being too unrealistic, and this leads to him to go looking for proof. As usual, things take a turn for the worse once again, but Greg is determined to get his grade. Many people get hurt because of the evil camera throughout the story, and it ends with Greg willing to let the teacher take his photo to see that his assignment is worth the passing mark. Rip the Cat. The 5th and 6th episode of Season 4, titled Cry of the Cat, Part 1 and 2, feature the evil cat named Rip. The story begins with a bizarre encounter young Allison Moore has with Rip. When she accidentally runs him over, she carries his carcass to the owner's house only to find out from another young girl named Crystal that her mother will not like this at all. Before anything else happens, Rip comes back to life and disappears into the woods. The next day at school, Rip comes looking for Allison and meets with another accident, getting killed and coming back to life a second time.
Damn.
Allison begins to see cat hair everywhere she goes, and when she wakes up in the middle of the night to find Rip trying to choke her, she tosses him out of the window, killing him a third time. This is when she starts exhibiting cat-like behavior herself. Soon Allison visits Crystal to demand some answers, where she finds out that Rip has actually been dead for years and has used up 8 of his 9 lives.
He only has 1 life left, and he won't stop until he has yours.
1 life to live.
Crystal introduces Allison to her mother, who is half human and half cat. The mother tells Allison that this is all the result of a series of failed experiments where many cats ended up dying, but Rip was too evil and just kept coming back to life. She also reveals to her that anyone Rip scratches turns into a cat-like creature, which explains Allison's present condition. Amidst all this chaos, Rip and the other undead cats arrive, demanding a sacrifice, and Crystal's mother offers Allison in place of Crystal. Allison smartly distracts the cats, which leads to a fight, and Rip gets killed for the final time. Though Crystal and her mother are now free of the curse, the story ends with Allison still exhibiting signs of transformation.
To human, they were my subjects. But all the experiments...
Rip has dark gray fur and yellow glowing eyes. It looks especially menacing because of its sharp teeth and bloodlust. Although the book describes Rip's stature as big as any regular cat, the episode gives him a wing-like structure on his back, which makes him appear even more unnerving.
Remember, Commander, one seed for me.
Creeps. The 19th episode of Season 2, titled Calling All Creeps, deals with the dynamics of middle school bullies. Tired of getting picked on by his seniors, 6th grader Ricky Beamer decides to take matters into his own hands. He attempts to give out his bully, Tasha McClain's phone number with a message inviting all creeps to call her after midnight. However, this plan backfires as Tasha finds out and gives out his number instead, which leads to Ricky getting eerie calls at night. One day on his way to school, Ricky is met with his 3 bullies who suddenly transform into the creeps that had been calling him. They have human bodies with slimy amphibian heads and frog-like tongues who are now referring to Ricky as their master. They force him to put in a bunch of black-colored seeds into the school lunch so as to transform all the other kids into creeps as well.
Here are the identity seeds. We must plan them at the school.
After the plan fails, they almost turn on Ricky, but his friend Iris jumps in, claiming she has a new plan that will save him. They decide to put the identity seeds into the cookies Ricky and Iris sell at their bake sale stall. At first, he thinks of stopping the kids from eating the cookies, but thinking back on all their bullying, decides to let them eat it and turn into his followers after all. The episode ends with Ricky consuming a cookie and turning into a creep himself. In a metaphoric way, he is finally able to be one amongst the many and no more an outcast, but the price he pays is quite hefty.
Identity seeds in the cafeteria.
Is that a good plan?
The creeps in the book look similar to that in the television adaptation, except their heads are purple as opposed to the yellow ones in the episode. Although the episode shows Iris trying to stop Ricky while he consumes the cookies, in the book, she does not do anything at all. A key element missing from the episode was Ricky's mother and the school principal making an appearance, but in the bigger scheme of storytelling, they did not do much to
I didn't know that his range for his ult was that fucking far. I'm here, he's here. What the fuck?
The Horrors. Appearing in the 8th and 9th episode of Season 3, titled One Day at Horrorland Part 1 and 2, the Horrors are monsters that were born out of a slime puddle cursed by a witch. Since the slime puddle was radioactive in nature, the monsters look distorted and scary, with each of them having their own unique descriptions. One thing they all have in common is that they appear when people take a ride to Horrorland to whisper frightening things into their ears.
Well, can you tell me where the phones are?
Phones? Ain't no phones in Horrorland.
When Luke and Lizzie Morris take a road trip with their parents to visit the Zoo Gardens theme park, they get lost. In a detour that seems intentional in the greater scheme of things, they end up at another theme park called Horrorland. This place has workers in monster costumes and no working phones for them to call a ride, as their car breaks down. Soon the family realizes that the monsters known as the Horrors are very real and they must find a way to escape them. Luke and Lizzie are able to outsmart the Horrors for a brief moment that the family uses to get out of Horrorland and steal a bus to go home. Little do they know, one of the Horrors has followed them into the city and is now offering them a ticket to the theme park next year. The Horrors have green, scaly bodies and faces with black-colored horns. Although the television adaptation makes most of them look similar, the book has described them to have different personalities, with a couple of them even being helpful. Swamp Monster. The Swamp Monster appears in episode 18 of season 2, titled How to Kill a Monster. The story starts with Gretchen and her stepbrother Clark arriving at her grandparents' house located in the middle of a swamp. The house is old and looks almost like an abandoned mansion, except decorated with a grandfather's hunting souvenirs. From the very start, it is clear that something is off and the grandparents are accomplices to it. One day, while playing hide and seek, Gretchen and Clark stumble upon a room that they did not know was off limits. On entering, they see a gigantic creature that looks like a crossbreed between an alligator and a giant turtle. The kids name it Swamp Monster because of its slimy orange outer skin with scales on it. While trying to outrun the monster, they lead it off an edge where it seemingly falls to its death. But the beast returns and Gretchen quickly thinks of a solution to distract it for some time. Assuming that it would be willing to eat anything, the kids prepare a gravy using every edible item available to them and feed it to the monster, after which it passes out. When it wakes up again, it attempts to eat Clark's arm, but ends up vomiting all over the place as it is allergic to him. The episode has a sort of abrupt ending as we see the kids running out into the swamp, and then realizing there are more monsters out there that come out after dark. There is no explanation on why the monster passes out after consuming the food Gretchen and Clark prepare for it, or why it was allergic to Clark. The book does not answer any of these questions either, but the swamp monster here looks very different from the one in the television adaptation. The monster in the book is green in color with an alligator head and a gorilla body. Another major difference is the grandfather bringing home the monster after having shot it, as opposed to the monster breaking and entering like in the book.
I need some magic though.
The Blob. The Blob is a slimy pink creature that looks angry for the most part and has a large tongue that eats anything or anyone in its way. It makes an appearance in the 23rd episode of Season 2 titled The Blob That Ate Everyone. The story revolves around Zachy Beauchamp, who is an aspiring horror writer. He had been writing about the adventures of the Blob monster for a while he stumbles upon a typewriter he is extremely fascinated with. As soon as he begins writing a story on the typewriter, each sentence seems to come true, and this frightens Zachy's friend Alex.
The dark house. So what?
So this. You wrote about the storm and the storm started.
Despite her telling him something is wrong with the typewriter, Zachy continues to write his story about the Blob. In a strange turn of events, the whole town runs scared the next day, with many people complaining about having seen a monster. When Zachy sees the Blob terrorizing the town, he tries to make amends by writing the end of his story, but the keys get stuck just as the Blob enters his room. Zachy feels that it is up to him and not the typewriter to determine how the story goes, and proceeds to wish upon the Blob being gone and all the townsfolk being returned.
Now I have to retype the whole story.
I think you got bigger problems than your story.
The story ends with us finding out that the whole thing was actually something the Blob was narrating to his own monster friends. When they express their disapproval of the sad ending and demand that the Blob eat everyone in the end, he takes it into consideration and rewrites the ending himself. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.
What do I need
Staying with
first?
Werewolf.
This.
Time for me to say goodbye. Have a scary night, everyone.
And then we'll go this. But wait. But I won't be able to get this.
Size is a liability.
I really do need the magic pen. I might go, instead of Morello's, I might go Demonic Embrace.
Reinforcements ain't coming. Huh. Got a little surprise for him. Good men die. I choose to live. Face toward enemy. My ears are always ringing.
Shogath can easily take this from us. That was weird.
War didn't change me. I changed war.
Kate, you need to chill. Oh wait, we almost have our item. Oh wait, shit. Forgot. I want this first. And I'm not sure if we're going Morelos. We'll grab this and then go to Market Brace. Almost there. Let's go top. Yasuo is below us. Oof. He's still chasing me, huh? Alright, let me finish this. We need this dragon soul point for us.
Yo, where the hell is my wallet, man? I'm always losing shit. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Alright, I guess I'll just try imagining myself pressing a button on the controller. Brain blast! Alright, I don't need to say that. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's working! Oh, here go another one. Okay. Square. Man, this is crazy. Really just
Shanna has
quick
ult
time
and
events
teleport.
in real life.
We need this last dragon, Shen.
My body just moves by itself. Man, this is the best workout ever. I don't have to do anything. I just press buttons in my mind. Oh, that was crazy. It was like my body was on autopilot.
All right, let's go.
Oh, man, that was kind of wild. Oh my god, I want to press that so bad. Oh, I just don't know what it's gonna do if I press it. What if I grab his ass or some shit? Oh my god, I might not be able to stop myself. Oh, but I want to press it. You know what? I'm gonna do it. If I grab his ass, I grab his ass. No, I don't know what that's gonna do when I press the button. Let me not do that. That's my friend. Come on. Think.
And Shen just be staying top, yo.
I'm sorry, bro.
What are you doing?
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry, I can't stop the animation.
What are you doing?
I just had to see what it was gonna do when I pressed it. Why would you just stand there, man?
Man, I'm on my pillow.
Why would you just stand there? Shh. Let's go to sleep. Let's go to sleep. Oh shit, he is dead. Oh shit. What do I do? What do I do? Okay. Okay, so I'm pulling out my phone. They trying to make me self-snitch? Oh, no. I'm not taking accountability for this. I'm trying to get away with this murder. So yeah, if you could help me hide the body, that would be great. Oh, narc-ass bud, you better quit playing with me. All right, let's see what you got for me. Man, what kind of bullshit is this? I can't even move him. Oh my god, man, he's too heavy. I don't know how I'm gonna get him out of here. Oh, hell no. Oh, shit. Oh, this is getting graphic. This is getting graphic. Oh, shit. Okay. 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 I can do this. I'll just turn my brain off, and I'll just press the buttons and let my body do whatever it needs to do.
And Moo Moo and Shogun coming on the other side. I need the group.
Yo! 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 Oh my god! Oh my fucking leg! That's my leg!
Don't worry. The button knows the answers to all of our problems.
I am no longer really taking this seriously. I need to stop that.
What's that? Keep chopping his body into little pieces. Okay.
Demonic motherfucker! Fucking monster!
That's game.
Fucking monster!
You're not the only one that can press buttons.
Man, where the buttons at? I better not be fucking dead. I didn't miss one button. Man, fuck life. This game is garbage. I'ma just go to hell or some shit.
Woo! She sacrificed herself for nothing. I have flash though. I could have gotten out just fine. What's up? Hogath? Oh shit, dragon's up. You know, we could have gotten Dragon Soul if Shin had been there for any other dragons. Instead of always split pushing. Kind of annoying. You saw me come over here for this. What are you doing, Kate? Fuck off. No, that's on you. Alright, full build. Let's go, baby.
I used to live by a code.
Oh no, we lost our CS lead. Shyvana has more CS than us now. Why are we not grouping and pushing a mid so we can get these inhibitors? Addicted. Yeah, I don't know about that. Seriously, yo? Okay, now what? I know it's not as funny, but damn. She came out of nowhere with that shit. Damn, she fast.
Man, oh my God, I cannot believe what I saw. Y'all will not believe who did this. I found the body.
Oh shit, all right, Black found the body. I don't know who it was because I wasn't by anybody. I went off to just do my task, and Black, what do you gotta say, man?
Wait. Before anyone says anything, I promise. I walked into the room and he was there, all over purple already.
It was me. Okay. Really? That's a good play. But I caught you red-handed. I saw you in the room. Purple was face down on the ground. You had a pizza cutter and a butcher knife in your hand. I don't know what you did to this man, but he was gone.
Oh shit, that's funny because I was suspicious of Green from the very beginning. So Green, you gotta go.
Me? Whoa. No. I saw Green, like, he's kind of walking around me too much. It's been a little bit uncomfortable. Like, did you see him? Was he doing his task he was supposed to do?
I haven't seen him the entire map, but I mean, if you saw him in 4K.
That's all we gotta go on, man. I went to reactor, I did the numbers thing, and I walked in the room, the door was closed, and I saw him right there.
Wow.
It wasn't me.
How was it me? When you did it?
Green, no matter what you say right now, it's gonna get you out of the situation, and I already voted for you, so that's it for you, bro. You're gonna get the boot.
I only got one thing to say. Are y'all really gonna trust somebody wearing black Air Force Ones? What?
All right, my mind's made up. Yeah, green. Yeah, green. Get him out of here. Air Force Yeah. See ya.
Now it's time to find the next imposter. So everybody, let's just focus on task and keep going.
Damn it, Shin! Be here for any dragon at all.